I have a plan. Yes, I have a reading grandmaster plan. It is probably a big stretch to say that I will complete this goal within like 2 years, but the goal is to complete it, not within a time frame. So, hello, I am False Mind Reads, and today I am going to share with you my reading grandmaster plan. Now, this is very loose. These are big series that I'm going to talk about today. I have technically 2 big series that I'm going to talk about today. And, of course, I'll be reading other things in between, but these are massive series that'll probably take me each over a year to read. That's just how kind of my reading speed is. Plus, I'm a mood reader, and like if I don't feel like reading something, then I'm probably not going to read it. So yeah, obviously the first step in my Grandmaster plan is finishing Malazan, Book of the Fallen. I am on Dust of Dreams right now. I'm about like 300 pages into it, and then after that, it's The Crippled God, and then I'm done Book of the Fallen, right? And then after that, there is the Novels of the Malazan Empire and the Witness Quartet, and then I don't want to say I'm done with Malazan, but like from there, Malazan is like light reading. You know, it's Carcanis whenever I want, or Path to Ascendancy whenever I want. Essentially, I'm kind of it becomes filler reads, not a bad thing. Like just like stuff to break up what comes next in the Grandmaster plan. So that is step 1. Step 2 in the Grandmaster reading plan is Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien. So I read The Hobbit about a year ago now, and The Hobbit for me I had been trying 3 times. I tried once like during high school, early on, like grade 9, when I first started getting back into reading with like Game of Thrones, and I bounced off of it mostly due to the writing style. It's old, and it's also simplistic because it's a children's book, so it's simultaneously challenging to read, but also not very, like, I don't want to say not stimulating, but it wasn't giving me what I wanted. It wasn't giving me that, like, fun, action-packed, like, you know, thing that I had imagined from seeing the movies as a kid. And so I bounced off it, and then I tried again, and then I bounced off it again. And the third time was the charm, and I read it. And that made me want to read Fellowship of the Ring, but I also feel like, and then this is where the Grandmaster plan started coming up, right? Because so when I'm finished with this sneak peek review for my 2024 or 2025 TBR, this is on there, this series. And this will lead me perfectly into reading The Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan. I own all the Wheel of Time. I've owned a lot of the Wheel of Time for a lot of time, for a while. And I've actually read like some of this book. I read about 40, 50 pages, and this was also when I was getting into Malazan, and I said, okay, that's a little bit too much, like all at once for me, so I put this one down and continued along with Malazan. But I want to get back to Eye of the World, right? Or Wheel of Time, Eye of the World, starting with it. And then, obviously, when you come over to the end, you, just holding up one, you get, who's this guy? Who's he? It's Brandon Sanderson. After I get to Brandon Sanderson, this is why I call it a Grandmaster plan, because after I get to Brandon Sanderson, in the Wheel of Time series, it's a perfect segue into reading The Cosmere. So we have step 1, step 2, step 3, and step 4 is The Cosmere. Now The Cosmere, probably going to come in like 2026. So not only will I own most of the Cosmere stuff except for the 3 Secret Project books. Technically the 4 Secret Project books, because Isles of the Emberdark isn't out yet, and I probably won't buy it until I'm gonna read it. But I do own all of like the core ones, that like pre-Secret Project books, and the Wax and Wayne series too, which is post. One of them is post, but yeah, and I do want to read Brandon Sanderson, but I have a sneaking suspicion that he might not be for me. And so I really want to like extend that period of mystery and like, and the fun thing is now I can go and I can watch videos and I can spoil myself on, not in depth, but like you can watch kind of a summary video and you hear like, oh, Shallan did the ritual of casting in light, and then she like went to the capital, and then she talked to Dalinar. Like, I don't know what none of this means. I don't even like. I'm just saying names that I know. I know Kaladin. I know Shallan. I know Dalinar. Those are the three names I know. And I know that's Stormlight, by the way. But like, I don't know. They're like Stormblades and like Stormlight, and I'm like, oh wow. It's going over my head. So I can spoil myself and then wait, and then when I pick it back up, I will know nothing about it, which is really nice. And that's kind of the Grandmaster plan. Like, so when I finish this, I will probably be taking a break from long series, and then I'll go into this in sometime in 2025, and hopefully I'm gonna like it. Hopefully, I think I'm gonna not slog through, but like if it's a slog, I'm gonna try and read all 3 books, because it's pretty short. It's basically like Fellowship, like the whole trilogy is about as big as The Crippled God is. So I should be able to read it not very quickly, but fairly like regularly. Like it should get by in a regular amount of time. And in the Wheel of Time, this is 14 books. Well, I have a copy of New Spring, so it's 15 books long, which they're not as long as Malazan books, but it's still probably gonna take me a while to read. Probably I'd say a year and some change to read this series. And then the Cosmere, these books aren't all as long as Malazan, but the ones that are, the Stormlight Archives, are I think all about as long as Toll the Hounds, which is the longest book in Malazan. And that's a fun challenge because I don't know, for me, I don't really care about big books. Like, my mantra is I've read bigger. Like, looking at every book, I've read more. I've read more pages. I've read more of this. I've read the biggest books you can bind, basically. Now, I haven't read the Bible cover to cover, but I guess I haven't read the biggest book you can read. But that's okay. I don't really want to. And I'm excited. This isn't like an like, again, this is very loose. Like, this is gonna take place over like a year or two, probably around 3 years. I'll get back to you on what the status is, and I'll update you on my master plan as it's coming to fruition. I think the thing I'm most excited about is I'm really curious about my thoughts on the Wheel of Time, because, and if you hadn't guessed, it's kind of walking through the eras of fantasy. That's kind of the theme, is going from what originated other worlds, like alternate worlds as we know it, or alternative worlds, to kind of perfecting the formula. You come right up to Tolkien clone, and then you get this, which takes it off in its own direction. And then, literally, Brandon Sanderson finishes it off, which introduces into the modern era of fantasy, the one that we're in now. And I think it's really good. Like, for example, I have the Lightbringer series behind me right there. That's only 5 books. I think that doesn't count as like a big series. That counts as it's a sizable series. Don't get me wrong. But like a big series is anything, I think, over like 7 books. I would count that as big. Like Realm of the Elderlings. I think Realm of the Elderlings I'm not going to read as like a 16-book series. Like, the thing with the Cosmere is I get that it's a few series, but I want all the connect. I want to read it just like all the way through, like in one shot. I don't want to read the Mistborn trilogy and then read Elantris 6 months later, and then, I want to get it all kind of like in one go. That's why I'm doing it like this, just to specify. And yeah, that's kind of my master plan for reading. Thank you for watching to this point in the video, and I hope you have a good day and you like and subscribe to this channel and this video. It would be really cool. Thank you. Bye 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 bye.